Well, President Trump may not stop with D.C., signaling that federal intervention could be on the table for other cities. Cities like New York, Oakland, California, Los Angeles, and Baltimore. Chicago, another target for this potential crime crackdown.
If we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. But when I look at Chicago and I look at L.A., if we didn't go to L.A. 3 months ago, L.A. would be burning like the part that didn't burn.
Well, NewsNation's Alex Caprariello live here in Chicago with a look at what the mayor had to say about the president's plans, as well as the response that just came from the White House. Alex.
Yeah, that's right, Nicole. Just moments ago, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt clarified that right now the president is focusing on federalizing D.C. and cleaning up what he sees as rampant crime in the nation's capital. But that being said, they're not ruling out the possibility that the Trump administration might reach into other jurisdictions all across the country, including some of these Democratic strongholds, if they feel it rises to that occasion. Of course, here in Chicago, that is outspokenly critical from Mayor Brandon Johnson, who believes that this was a gross overreach in federalizing the Washington, D.C. area, and then suggested that activating the Illinois National Guard will be a serious escalation. Instead, Mayor Johnson calling on President Trump to release the more than $800 million in federal funding that's being withheld, which he says could go directly toward anti-violence programs. He also continues to reinforce that any federal action in his city would be deemed unconstitutional. Take a listen.
He is one of the biggest threats to humanity that we've seen in an entire generation. And as mayor of the city of Chicago, and as someone who understands the premise of our Constitution, we are justified in our resistance to his authoritarianism.
And again, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt doubling down on the president's agenda and then criticizing the Democrats' response to his plans. Listen to this.
I think it's despicable that Democrats cannot agree that we need more law and order in a city that has been ravaged by violence, crime, murders, property theft. This should be a winning issue for all Americans. I don't understand. It's just anything President Trump does, the Democrats want to disagree with. I think the president would love to work with Democrats on this issue to bring law and order to America's cities, but unfortunately they have failed, and that's why he's taken this historic action to federalize the National Guard.
For the most part, President Trump has his eyes on Democratic strongholds, painting a picture that they are engulfed in crime, violence, vandalism, and homelessness. The president says Los Angeles, New York, Baltimore, and Oakland, California could all be targeted next. However, despite this narrative that President Trump is pushing, recent national data shows most of these major U.S. cities have actually seen improvements in violent crime year to date. The one exception is the one you see right there in red. New York rape, that's the only category that seems to be heading in the wrong direction. While violent crime may be improving, the president's push to federalize D.C. comes after a dozen teenagers attacked a government worker earlier this month. In fact, all across the country, officials are working to get a hold of these street takeovers from teens. Chicago, in fact, considering enacting a curfew. And then just this week, the Los Angeles district attorney promising swift punishment to any teen that either participates or is a witness even to bad behaviors like street takeovers. And of course, while the president does have the authority to federalize the Washington, D.C. Metro Police Department, he does not have that power unilaterally all across the country. And then when it comes to the National Guard, this is something that only governors of states can actually deploy, despite what we're seeing in the past over the last few weeks in Los Angeles, where we saw that battle brewing between the president and Governor Gavin Newsom.
All right, cool. Alex Caprariello live for us here in Chicago. Alex, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.